I think this might be the hardest episode I'll ever do. Um, I'm not about to deliver bad news, so that might have sounded like it was about to be a really heavy episode. I just mean I've just been at home all week, so usually the podcast is me talking about my week and what I've been up to. And the last few weeks I've been in New Zealand and travelling around, and then I've just been at home. So I've had meetings, and the meetings, because they're in America, obviously I'm here, they're on Zoom. My days have started at about 5 o'clock. So I've sort of been pottering about, really, which is lovely. Because, and sorry to talk about the weather literally a minute in, but I've done a lot of washes. I think I'm on 7, and the only reason it's not more is because there's nothing else to clean. Yeah, I've done I've done one today. So it's I'm recording this on Saturday. This will come out Monday morning, but it's bank holiday, so I imagine more people will listen on Tuesday than usual, because in America it's a Memorial Day weekend. What is that? I'll be honest. I was on a few meetings where they were saying, "Is this really ignorant of me?" Memorial Day weekend. Let me just check. They were saying about how it's going to be a long weekend there because of that. When is Memorial Day? Memorial Day is observed on the last Monday of May each year in the United States. What is Memorial Day? Oh God! Obviously, it's about war. But which one? Not just those who serve, is it? Is it just for those who serve? Oh, okay. So it goes back to 1865. A discovery by a Yale University professor at Harvard Archive suggests the earliest observance of Memorial Day was held by a group of formerly enslaved people in Charleston, South Carolina in 1865. Records show that the group transformed a racetrack that had once served as a prison. It's quite a heavy start to the episode, sorry. Right, so is it for people who were enslaved and people who... Other records show that the first Memorial Day came after the Civil War, when communities came together at Arlington National Cemetery on May 30th, 1868. History doesn't end there, as recently in the 1990s, historians have found records of other celebrations. Right, okay, so I feel a bit better about that, because I was confused about what it was, and it seems that even history is not sure when it started. But we're just remembering people on Monday. So America's taken the day off work for that. It's like a bank holiday there. It's a bank holiday. I think the one in the United Kingdom's a bit more relaxed. I think it's just a May weekend. I think ours is quite light. There's 2 in May. When I lived in Canada, and they have one bank holiday every month. One bank holiday a month, and you get a personal day off work paid every month. So guaranteed every month you're getting two days off paid. Lovely. Yeah, that was good. They also do a good thing there where they pay you every week, or maximum every 2 weeks. So you've always got that. There's that crazy thing that happens in I don't know. I'd love to know around the world, actually, what the usual thing is, because we're so used to it being the end of the month, being from the UK. What happens then is people call it payday weekend. And it used to be, when I started out and I was doing more clubs, that towards the end of the month, the gigs could be, if you were in proper clubs, they could be a bit more, people were out drinking a bit more because they'd been paid, basically. And I think they're sort of... the way they sort of celebrated that was to get drunk. And it's like they forget the circle of life. I know that's not the circle of life, but the circle of life of payday every month. That will run out when you've got a few days left, and then you'll get paid, and then you'll sort of go crazy and spend it and then forget that in a month you're going to be in the same position. And that seems to be the way people live their lives. But I think that's probably, without sounding too much like a conspiracy theorist, the way that the people at the top like it, I would have thought. I just think if you're getting paid every week or every other week, you've always got money coming in, so you're going to spend more as well. So it'd be better for the economy, if I'm honest. But I mean, I'm not an economist, but I can barely say it. But just a thought. And if you're listening for the first time, that's sort of how the podcast goes, really. Started talking about the fact that I had nothing to talk about. Ended up talking about the weather, washing, history, and payday weekends, and we're just over 5 minutes in. But yeah, I think we should bring it in here where you get paid every week or every other week. Then you've just always got, no one's ever worried about when the next paycheck's coming, because you know it's coming that week. That's when it is. Yeah, I just think it works better, really. In fact, it doesn't matter. I was about to go into a way that I'm paid. I mean, I get paid at the end of the month by my agency from whatever work I've done going back for the last 2 or 3 months sometimes. If you do a show, for example, maybe they've got a 30-day window where they always say, we'll pay you within 30 days. If it's like a live show, for example, like I did 2 gigs last night. So it's Saturday, as I said. I did 2 gigs last night, Friday, down in Portsmouth, which for a promoter, one of them is for a promoter. I mean, they're both promoters I like, but the initial gig I had in was for this one promoter who he'll text every now and again and just say, here's a load of gig offers, and he does them nice and in advance. So you'll check your diary and you'll go, you know what, I've got nothing that month. Maybe it's a quiet month. I'll say yes to these. I've got a few things in the diary then, and I can work up some new material, and I can drop a little bit in there, or just a little extra. And I do that. I book them in myself anyway. That's not through my agency. So I just go, you know what, I'll do it. I'll invoice myself, as in invoice him myself. I won't invoice myself. I'll invoice him myself, and it's just a bit of pocket money, I guess. You just go, well, that's there. But then what happens is the reality comes when you're booking them in. They're so far in advance, they don't seem real. So then what happens is yesterday, it's a lovely weather. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to drive down to Portsmouth. So in fact, what happened was I got a... if you're watching this, I've just put my leg up to scratch. I'm actually wearing shorts. I think the first time I've ever recorded the podcast in shorts, so I've just shown you a bit of leg. Shorts and no socks either. And I've only just put a t-shirt on to record this. So the rest of the day just been boxers and shorts. Sort of like, I've been walking around like the little boy from the Jungle Book all day. But, sorry. Yes, so what happened was, I got a text from a promoter who books gigs in London. Always Be Comedy. In fact, one of my favourites. I think most people would say that as well. If you're in with Always Be Comedy, they're great. If you live around southwest London, or if not, travel. You've got the Tommyfield, which is a pub in Kennington. That's what you call the flagship. That's the main night that they do, and that's it's perfect. It's almost genuinely almost too good. In fact, I have known of when certain acts want to work up material. They'll ask, they'll do like a mail out, and maybe they'll sort of say, well, I guess you just sort of, their audience is so nice that they're like, you could go there and just everything you say could get a round of applause because they're so lovely. So sometimes they're like, could I do another room that's a little bit trickier that you've got? Just so you can actually work stuff up. So actually they'll say, I'll do that one. In fact, I text him. So, oh my giddy God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's just happened for the last 4.5 minutes, but I don't even know what I'm talking about. Basically, maybe it's the sun, and I've got more energy because I've been pottering around at home. I've got more energy. Clearly, where shall I go with this thought process? Let me stick to Always Be Comedy because that happened on Thursday. So what happened was, I had these gigs in Friday night, I was going to be doing 2. So on Thursday, James, the promoter, texts me, don't suppose you'd mind jumping on tonight. This was not at the Tommyfield, the main one. This was at their new one in Chelsea. I thought, I had a meeting, a great meeting actually. I had a really good meeting with a producer from America, and he's done some shows I really like. And we hit it off so well, and he had an idea for a sitcom that I absolutely loved. I can't get it out of my mind. And I think he'd probably think I was just buttering him up if I kept emailing him and telling him how much I liked it. But I can't tell you the idea, but God, I loved it. Anyway, we got on really well. So he... yeah, I had a meeting with him. Then James had texted me earlier that day. Could you do this gig? I said, what time? And it wasn't going to be until gone 8. So I was like, I can do that. It's Chelsea, so it's so close to me anyway. And I thought, actually, I've not gigged since New Zealand. And the New Zealand show has been... the tour, in New Zealand, it was my tour show. And I don't want to do my tour show in clubs. So I was like, actually, I've got some new stuff. I'll go and work it up there. So I went and did that on Thursday. And that was great because... tried some new stuff and just stuff I'd been working on. Just to say it, sometimes you just want to say it out loud in front of a crowd because you can say it around the house, but when you're there with the microphone and the lights and the audience staring at you, you can sort of forget your words a bit. So there were some bits I was excited to try. So I said, actually, yes, I can do that. And then it just means over the weekend I can build that up. 2 gigs on a Friday, and then I've got 1 tonight in, I don't know where it is, I'll look in a minute, but it was roughly at Hertfordshire's way. Anyway, so I went and did that, so I ended up having another gig, and I thought, great. So then on the Friday, I had the 2 gigs down in Portsmouth. So one of them was the initial one that got booked in ages ago. He'll send you like 10 dates. And they're so far in advance that you just go, yeah, fine, because that doesn't seem real. Then what happened was in the week, I'm just going to have a sip of my tea. 10 minutes in should be perfect. Actually, 12 and a half minutes in, and it's still hot and perfect. Mind you, no surprise, it's still hot. Absolutely boiling. Hello, Richard Parker. You okay? So I will... I'll tell you about that in a second. So yeah, so I went down there, and the first gig, I think I did it about 2 years ago. I remember doing this gig 2 years ago. So it was so hot in there. The audience was sat there with fans in their hands. It was boiling. Although I think you're technically supposed to say broiling, aren't you? Boiling's water, and broiling is like... I remember learning that reading The Great Gatsby. They say broiling. I think, and that's technically what it's supposed to be if it's not water. But I mean, you can't say that in everyday conversation. Sound like but I felt like it was so hot up there that I felt like I was instantly like laminated. Anyway, that was a nice gig. Then in the week, a live booker from my agency had emailed me and said, I see that you're down this way. We need someone to close a gig in Portsmouth. Would you mind doing that one as well? So you go, well, I'm down there anyway. And that means I can now tell the jokes on Thursday night, try them out on 2 proper club nights on Friday and see if they definitely work. So you go, great, and then I've got a show tonight. By Sunday, I should have like a whole new set I'm working on. So that's nice. So it worked out. And you get to see friends, you get to see some comedians you've not seen for a while. Although there's one comedian called Joe Wells, and I think we've gigged together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So, well, probably 4 weeks, probably 5 weeks actually, because I went to New Zealand, didn't I? But we check in every now and again with each other. That's nice. We're getting on really well, actually. I really like him. He's talks about being autistic, but it's a fun thing when we both sort of get along. Yeah, I heard I was played a podcast clip last night, and it was about people with ADHD or ADD. I can't tell the difference, but I think one of them's got the word hyper in it. Is that what the H is? What's the difference? Let's have a quick Google, because I was played this clip. I reckon if this is the first episode of this you've ever listened to, you've probably checked out by now. Difference. But I'm just... This is one. This is one more for the Monday's difference between ADHD and ADD. So I don't know if I've got it. ADD is simply an outdated term. Oh, whoops. For what is officially medically classed as ADHD. Today, ADD refers specifically to the inattentive. I don't know. Okay, it's ADHD. So I've never really. Only in the last few months have people started to mention that maybe I've got that, and I never really thought about it, but because I guess I always think about it as being those people who are like super high energy and can't sit still. But so I'll go through bouts where sometimes I can, and sometimes I can sit still. Anyway, and because sometimes I'll sit still and I'll watch like I've just decided to start rewatching Seinfeld. I thought I'll go from the start again. That'll be nice. I just did it with BoJack Horseman. It's familiar. Anyway, so I was playing this podcast clip, and it was the girl was saying how she likes to eat the same things every day, same meal, and she'll get like stuck on one thing. She'll go, "That's what I'm going to eat," and I was like, "Well, yeah, I do that," but I thought if anything that would be like autism with like in routine. So I was like, that's interesting. ADHD, and you like the same meal of it. I was like, okay. Then they started talking about if this other girl on the podcast started saying, yeah, if I find a t-shirt I like, I'll buy 5 of them. And I mean, I did my list the other day. I don't know if you remember a few episodes ago. I think I've figured out I've got 70 something of the same t-shirt. So I was like, well, that's me then, is it? And then they said, oh, no, I'll watch the same show that I've watched again and again. And they said how sometimes they'll, after, maybe at work, someone will say, you should watch this show, start this new series tonight. And they'll be like, a new series? But I've had a busy day. I can't take on new stuff. I was like, yeah, I get that. And then I thought, but how's that? He said, obviously, I like my oatmeal porridge for breakfast. I like my omelettes for lunch, and dinner I will vary up between about 5 or 6 meals I like. And I thought, well, this is interesting. What's happening here then? And then I thought, what? The same t-shirt. And I'm watching the same show. And then they said it's because it takes out any decision making of your day, because life is so full of decisions you have to make that you take. And I thought that makes sense. I thought that would be like autism, you like routine, but ADHD, you're taking away all that decision making. So you can go, I'm going to, like I do, I'm going to wear my white t-shirt, put that on first, make oatmeal, have an omelette for lunch, slightly different dinner, but if I do stop for 20 minutes and watch a show, it'll be Seinfeld, something I've already watched, and yeah, the idea of me starting a brand new show, I really have to psych myself up for it. Because I'll think, can I start a new show tonight? Because also, I'm away for the next 2 nights, so I'm not going to be able to get into it. So is that going to throw me anyway? So I go, no, let's just stick with familiar, or a film that is complete then, and I've finished it and I'm done. It's why I can't do any of the Marvel ones. I'm like, it's too overwhelming. So it's slightly fascinating. For me, that. Yeah. Because I've got the same shorts I wear as well, Nike swim shorts, but they don't look like swim shorts, they just look like shorts, but you could wear them swimming, and I've got them in 2 in blue, 2 in green, 2 in pink, and I wore them in Sydney. I wore a pink pair, and a lady in a restaurant I was in, she looked over at me and smiled, then she came over eventually and said, I'm a fan. It's nice to meet you. And then she messaged me later and said, "Great to see you in person in your pink shorts." And I thought, that's funny that you referenced it. So I think maybe the pink's brighter than I realised. But to comment on that, like in your pink shorts, you didn't say your white t-shirt. It was your pink shorts. It was like maybe it's more of a statement than I realised. But yeah, I've been having conversations this week about my birthday, because it's my birthday coming up, 31st of May. I'll be in Ireland for it. I think it's the 2nd or 3rd time I've been in Ireland on my birthday. I think it's the maybe third time in a row I've not been at home on my birthday. Last year I woke up in Bergen in Norway on my birthday. Oh, I was supposed to be there. I was on tour. It was like a mad night out. Woke up. The idea of ever doing that, like, you know, like if you went out, I don't know, the idea that you could, I guess. Imagine ever getting like drunk enough. You go out and your ID you've taken out with you is your passport. You have a few drinks. You're around King's Cross, St Pancras. And a few of you, after a few drinks, go, isn't it mad that we could be in Paris in an hour and a half? And you go, let's see if there's any seats available. Get some cans. You're on there. And you're thinking, this is wild. Then you wake up the next day. It could happen. But I don't know how you get to Bergen. So, anyway, I woke up in Bergen last year. And the year before that was Ireland. And then this year will be Ireland. What a lovely, quite a nice, I wonder if I should keep that up for life. Never be at home on your birthday, because then you'll always remember them. As you're getting older, all the birthdays must blend into one. But if you go, wow, hold on. I'll remember this one because I'll be in Ireland. I definitely remember the last one because I was in Bergen. Spent the day travelling home, then went to see Harry Hill in Shepherd's Bush. So I remember that day. Year before that, woke up in Dublin. So I remember it. Year before that, I just had a gig in High Wycombe and I saw an air ambulance, an MD 902, land really close to my sister's house when I was on the way to the gig. I stopped in there to see her for my birthday. And this helicopter landed, yeah. So I do remember that, and I was at home. But the idea of being in a different country every birthday. I mean, I guess I'm lucky with my work that it works out, because every single reason has been for work. But maybe I should keep that up. Imagine the idea next year. Oh yeah, then that one woke up Tokyo. I mean, that'd be a dream. Chances are it'd be America, I would have thought, with everything going on. Had a meeting this week about going out there, and it looks like I'll be going out there in August. In New York and LA. I'll be going out there for a few weeks in August, and then back out there in I think it'll be for the tour whenever that is. That'll be later this year. So yeah, that'll be lovely. Because to have the weather I realised I'd gone from doing my tour in Canada in December to being around the UK January, February, March, April. And then just as it started to get nice here, I went to New Zealand, and I did luck out slightly with the weather in New Zealand, but it was never like hot. You sort of, it was deceiving because it was going into their autumn. So there was a bit of sun here, I think, and I was away. And then I was going to open the door because there's a fly wants to get out. Go on then. I've just spoken to the fly in the same way I do Richard. Richard Parker's gone out at the same time. I think he thought I was talking to him. I opened the door for the... go on. I'm still talking to the fly like it's a pet. I don't know how else to talk to a fly. He's gone the other way. Oh, he's come back. Go on. Out you go. Go on. Oh, you're so close. I did a video about this a while ago. I don't know how they don't... He's gone down the other end of the house. Maybe I'll keep the door open for a bit. Get some fresh air in. Oh, the fly's back. Go on. Oh, it's getting so close. Then it keeps flying into a mirror, and then going the other way. What on earth was I talking about? I'm going to have another sip of tea, and then while I have a think. That was nice. The weather. Yeah, so I've got back and I've had sun this week for the first time in 5 months. And obviously Canada is snow and dark and proper winter. The flies, go on, you're so close. Oh my giddy God, I don't know how you missed that one. That was wild. The door is open and I don't know how it was there and it turned back around and came back in. I don't know what's going through its mind. I did some gardening this week and go on. Oh, he's hit the wrong door. That's it, you're so close. I'm going to give it a bit of a nudge. Go on, out you go. Yes. Whew, gone. Did some gardening. I'm not really a gardener. I like indoor plants, house plants. The garden's overwhelming because there's so many of them, and I've not chosen what's there, so I don't know what it is. There's forget-me-nots out there that I didn't realise were weeds. But anyway, there's this other. I felt like the garden looked a bit dead, but apparently that's just because of the time of the year. But I was like, I don't know about that. So I got the app. Picture this for like houseplants. And I just thought, does it work on outdoor plants? So I took a picture of one and it said, this is dead. And it's probably got root rot or something. So I just slightly pulled at the plant and I thought, if you just pull at it and it comes out like with ease, that's probably a sign. So I Googled it then and it said, yeah, if they come out like that with like no fight whatsoever, there's no pull. So I pulled 3 of them so easily out. God, that's a satisfying feeling. So I got some bin bags and then I laid them out and I was folding them up because they were big things. I don't know what they were, but they were big. Some of them are still alive, but the ones that are dead, I just pulled them out, put them in bin bags. Because around here, actually, at my local council, they just do pick up. Some places don't pick up garden waste with the regular bit. God, I can't believe I'm talking about that. I'm so sorry. It might be the most boring thing I've ever said, but glad I caught myself. And then put them in a bag. But there were so many snails because they were living on this plant. Probably why it was dead. Turns out they killed them. So I pulled all these snails off. And every time I'd sort of knock them, they'd fall down onto the floor. I did this on the patio. Then my mum called me. And tell you what's great, actually. Meta, they gave me the Ray-Bans. So they're very good for if I'm away and walking around because I can do like a FaceTime call, but people don't have to look at me and they can look at what I'm looking at and have a call. But I was just in the garden and my mum called and we spoke for an hour and a half and I just carried on doing the gardening. And I really struggle to talk on the phone. I don't like it. But if I'm just doing something else, it's like they're there with me. And because they're not fully in your ears, you can hear everything going on. They're really good for that. If anyone else struggles on the phone, you just sort of live your life and this person's talking to you like they're next to you. Anyway, my mum called and asked what I was up to and I said, 30 snails. So I've got 30 snails here. I don't know what to do with them. She was very confused, actually. But then I said, maybe I'll build like a terrarium or... Is that the word I'm looking for? Terrarium? We're doing another Google. I feel like terrarium. Yeah, like a thing for them. I said, and my mum was like, well, they can't get out. I was like, well, I'll build one without a lid so they can leave if they want. Well, no, I said, I'll build one without a lid. She said, well, then they'll get out. And I'm like, well, that's great. That's up to them. They can come and go as they please. And then she said, I think you're overthinking it. Don't overthink it because you'll start sort of caring too much about them. Just let them live. And that sort of made sense. Then 5 of them started racing over to the side anyway, getting back to the soil. So I scooped up loads of them in a dustpan, but gently. And they were rolling around with each other. There were some of them playing. They were like racing away. It was a lot. Or mating. And I scooped them up and I put them in a corner of the garden that looks nice and alive, which probably was a mistake, but I just thought, they'll have a nice time. And you got to think, yes, they do kill plants, but they are living as well. Not the one I stood on earlier. That was I don't know how I missed it. I went to sit down. I was sat down out there having a cup of tea. Went to stand up and I felt the crunch and it was so big and I Googled it and I thought, will they just go and find another shell? And they said, no, if it's that bad a crunch, it's gone. Yeah, so, yeah. But no, yeah, we're doing some gardening and just sort of tidying it up a little bit. It just needed a bit more life. And it is, I'd like to get into gardening. That's something that happens, isn't it? When you retire, people sort of retire into the garden. Older people love to garden. They just love it. And then my nan used to have an allotment because she lived in a flat and she couldn't have a garden. So she used to love going to that allotment and she used to grow runner beans. Loads of runner beans. Never remember ever eating them at hers. Just always straight from the pod. She loved the taste of that. And probably like potato. She just loved it. And there was horses near there as well, and we go and feed them apples. Are you supposed to do that? Don't know. But yeah, she loved that allotment. And I loved it. I loved going there with her, just hanging out in the allotment. So maybe I have got green fingers. It's just so overwhelming. I don't know what any of it is. There is a tree that might be a pear tree, apparently. And actually around here in Battersea Park, there's a cafe called the Pear Tree. So I don't know if it's just around this area, very prominent with pears, but there's stuff growing on it, so I'll keep you updated as the podcast goes on. We're half an hour in, and I thought I would struggle, and seems like we're doing okay. So, yeah, as I said, it's my birthday, and I've been talking about what I want, and people seem to really struggle, but I think I like about 5 things. If you can get me more of the t-shirts that I like. I've recently discovered those regatta lightweight, really super lightweight fleeces, and they're very good for just throwing on, because they're lightweight, so you could, especially in the summer, in the evening, just chuck them on. And it also means if you're eating, you can just chuck them on and you're not going to get everything down your white top. So I like them. I like books. And to be honest, whiskey is like a drink I drink. So I sometimes just say a bottle of whiskey, but I've got so many of unopened bottles that are just there, which is nice for when people come over, but they're just there unopened. About 3 years ago, I got into red wine. I felt very sophisticated drinking red wine. Just something about it. And I had one last week, actually, but I went out for dinner. Did I talk about this? I went out for dinner and I was absolutely exhausted. I think I did. Red wine. But it's just, I like it, but I can't help but feel like a bit pretentious drinking it. So that's what I don't like about it. And something about watching like suburban, maybe I'm thinking like Desperate Housewives, when they would like they're like, I don't know, I'm picturing them getting dinner ready with a glass of wine, or sitting down for dinner, and them and their partner's got a glass of red wine. And that's like one thing to have every day, but I couldn't do that. But yeah, books. There's trainers are like, I've used to always wear Reebok, but I've recently converted fully, I think, to New Balance. Not fully, I've got 2 pairs of Reeboks left. But I just felt they looked a bit scruffy with my jeans, but New Balance, I wore them with my jeans and I kept getting compliments, so I've gone for them. So I've got 2 pairs, a white pair with a bit of blue and then a white pair with a bit of yellow and green. So I've asked for another pair of the white and blue ones, just so I've got them again. So I think if I knew me, I'd go, I'll just get him more t-shirts that he likes, or a book, or chocolate, or something to do with helicopters. Really? Yeah. So I think it's easy. People overthink it, I think. But I need to start a new book. I want a nice, super easy summer page turner sort of thing. I think I'm thinking of going for a Leanne Moriarty, because I've got one of hers there. Apples Never Fall. Now, I've not actually read one of hers, but what happened was when I was on the plane flying to Australia last year, they have all audiobooks on, so I put one of the audiobooks on as I was falling asleep, and I just chose that one, and I love the narrator. Australian voice was like really fitting for it, because that's where she's from and where they're set. It was set in Sydney. Really good. The voice of it was really good, because having known suburban Australian mums, it was like perfect. So maybe I'll actually read one of hers. I really liked the style of it. And they're quite different, where it's like, I don't know, certainly the one I read was like, is it crime, is it not even? And that feels very summery as well. The book I'm reading has to fit the time of the year. So a nice summer read. Maybe I'll find one for this week. Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have maybe I'll go to the library. When will I do that? Tuesday? Oh no, I can't Tuesday. Tuesday I've got a meeting at 11, then I've got a show in Bristol. Then Wednesday, I've just booked, I called up today, nice and productive, booked an appointment with a hygienist. If this is the sort of update you, I was going to say tune in for. We still say tune in, don't we? Two things that have not gone despite the fact that no one's doing it anymore. Tune in and tape it. I'll have to tape that. And you just mean, I guess on like Sky, you can, but everything's got catch up now, so you don't even have to tape it, but people still say it. But I guess people, yeah, tape. But I guess people still say film, don't they? I filmed it. I guess you recorded it. But again, you don't want to be that person. Same person who's saying broiling. It's broiling today. And I imagine the type of person that says it is broiling today. You're either, royal, so you're around people who talk like that and you don't even realise that no one else is really saying that. Or I think you're saying it for people to go, that you mean boiling? And you go, no, it's actually, I think it's that, maybe? Broiling. Let me know in the comments. Do you say broiling? Has anyone ever said broiling? And meant it. As I said, I read it in Great Gatsby. Yeah, maybe I'll do that this week. A nice summer read. Maybe I'll get a book for my birthday. So I'm seeing my mum and dad were going to come over tomorrow for my birthday because I'm away. But I invited my niece. I want to see my niece and my great nephew and great niece. I wanted to see them. So she's at a christening. So I said we were trying to sort it. I was going to go today before on my way to the show. And then she said, "What about Monday?" I said, "Oh, we could go to Nan's," which is what she calls, which is what her mum is. My mum is to her. So I just texted her. She's 25. Isn't she born? Oh, was she born in 2001? 25. Since 25. So she's an adult. So we text her, and she's got children. She's got twins. So I said, "Oh, maybe we could go there." So I texted my mum and said, "What about Monday? Are you free? We'll come over." And then she said, "Oh, let's not worry about Sunday then. We'll just come over on Monday." Yeah. So what was I saying that? Oh, so I guess I'll get my presents early. My mum always gets me a Toblerone. I can imagine I'll get a Toblerone and a book, maybe a pair of trainers. Now another thing I've asked for actually is because I wore these Birkenstocks to New Zealand. I've been wearing the Birkenstocks outside. But even though I've got wooden floor everywhere in the house, I still feel a bit funny that I shouldn't, I wouldn't wear these to the shops now because wearing them to the airport and around, that felt okay. But actually wearing them in the street and then wearing them home feels a bit wrong. So I thought, well, what if I had a pair that were for house ones? Because they're very comfortable. And then what if I have a pair for I guess the garden now, the garden knocking about like that and going out with them because they are very comfortable. Although I put them on like all day, I've got them on, and then I was just walking around just in barefoot the other day, and my feet felt funny on the floor, and I was like, maybe I should. Maybe that's probably is not having a great effect on my feet. That actually they're not just flat. So I'm going to actually around the house a little bit start wearing nothing on my feet, just to be like, I don't know, just feel a bit. Yeah, it feels like you should be using your feet a bit more. If that makes sense. Yeah. So I've got this gig tonight. Let's have a look where this gig is. It's in Hertford Beam. I think it's part of a festival. So it says Hertford Beam, but I must have the details somewhere. I have to search it. B-E-A-M. Hertford Beam. Hertford Theatre. Okay, indoors. Beam, The Wash, Hertford. SG4. So how long is that going to take to get there? Looks like I'm on at 7:30. It's going to take an hour and 40 minutes. Okay. And I want to... Oh, the show starts at 7:30. I want at 7:35. So I'll aim to get there for 7. So if I leave here at 5... Yeah. Oh, okay, fine. yeah, I've got 2 hours, so I'll go and I'll make an omelette after this. Yeah, and then yeah. So tomorrow my parents were going to come over, but now oh yeah, I was gonna have. Oh yeah, no, I've got brunch, and then I was supposed to be. Oh yeah, I might be going to the power station. They've got this event on. Let me see what it's called. Battersea have been talking about this. They've been posting about this sort of slightly immersive art thing. So it's called A New Giant Luminarium has popped up at Battersea Power Station. Take off your shoes, which I've just been talking about, and step into Lux Art, a supersized world of glowing tunnels and shifting colours to explore through May half term. It's probably for. It's not just for children. It's launching tomorrow, Saturday 24th of May. You can book tickets for a 30-minute slot via the power station's website if you're looking for something a little bit different to do with the kids. Right. Okay, maybe I can't do that. Let's go into the comments. Let's have a look in the comments. What am I doing here? I'm going to go to YouTube comments first because I otherwise sometimes forget. YouTube, and we are diving in with. Okay, Jake's Journey Home. Let's have a little look here. So YouTube, I just chuck it up there. It's never meant to like sort of go viral on YouTube, by the way. So it's nice that only like a few hundred people watch it, but it's just there for you. So it's. I posted a short a while ago of my stand-up, and it got a lot of followers coming, but I'm like, they're probably not there for me, just sat here on my own in a chair talking for an hour. But some of you are, and I respect that. The trick to decent tea in the US. Yes. It's the same as you'd already worked out and spoke about. Maintain control at all costs. That's in all capitals. So what this is about is when I travel abroad, sometimes ordering a tea in public can go very wrong because they're not very good at it. They don't understand, or they'll fill it with like half the cup would be milk and it'll be undrinkable. And I had an issue where I had to take one back in New Zealand. Maintain control at all costs, i.e. hot water with a tea bag left in, preferably 2 tea bags. They're never strong enough. I did get offered that actually when I was in New Zealand. Someone said, do you want 2 in there? He said, how strong do you like it? And I went, I'll keep the tea bag in. He went, no, I'm talking about because if you want, I'll put 2 in there. He felt seen. And under no circumstances get the server to add in milk. You do that later once it's strong enough to your taste. Only then is everyone happy. Liz in Melbourne. Thank you so much, Liz. That's great. Yeah, I think what I learned to do is just say, can I have milk on the side? And they give you a little pot of milk. And in fact, what I'll do then is I'll pour a little bit in and then just have a shot of milk. It's protein for myself as I'm going about my day. Someone else. Thank you very much for that, Liz. And I will report back when I'm out there. When Richard Parker meowed, my cat, Mosey, was at my feet. She apparently heard him and meowed right back. That's lovely, isn't it? How nice is that? The cat, and something magical about cats. So you feel like they know each other. Angela, Angel Lunsford. What was meant by your comment regarding going to Glastonbury? That it would make you sad or feel bad or something? Just curious, thanks. Yeah, just, I imagine people, it's, I need a lot of sleep and a shower, and I need my routine. And if that was gone, I would probably when I was there, I'd probably get caught up in it and I'd be absolutely fine. I'd have an amazing time. Apart from, I just need somewhere dark in the shade and actually be able to sleep. And that will have to happen because I did Latitude about 2 years ago and got about 2 hours sleep. Then the sun was beaming through my tent. And I ended up having to go backstage and I showered, but I'd only had 2 hours sleep. I showered and then slept backstage in this tent for a few hours while everyone else was around and there was pictures of me and I was just like broken. I should have just slept there anyway. There was this backstage nice tent bit which had sofas in and you could just really rest there and it was really nice and relaxing. And I just had to just lounge around and sleep until I could drive home. So the idea of what it would be like after 3 or 4 or 5 days there, and maybe I guess If it can actually be shade, the tent's not going to be broiling. I'm getting it out there. And I can then I imagine it'd be great. But then again, just even when I see people like just watching the live music and they're just like that, and I'm like, I'm not that. It's gonna sound crazy. I'm not that into live music. I go to it, and I have had great experiences last year, as we know, or maybe we don't know. But I went to see Oasis, Post Malone, Simply Red, which goes to show that my I've got a very eclectic taste in music, which probably would be good for Glastonbury, but I just like Oasis was one I really wanted to do. I really liked that Post Malone album. Simply Red I listened to growing up. They were like three that really, and I did them 3 months in a row, and that was lovely. September, October, November. That was lovely. And I'm going to see Garth Brooks in the summer in London. But again, we grew up listening to him. So I just I loved seeing the Killers live. I don't know why Hot Fuss album isn't talked about more. It's one of the best. It's unbelievable. But maybe that's frowned upon, and maybe I've just not got a good taste in music. And yeah, so I don't know how much it's for me even. But I guess it's going with friends. If you went with friends and we all went, and it was like a group of 6 of us, maybe 8, and we all really wanted to go, and it was just having a good time with friends, and then let's go and do that, we'll have some food, have some drinks, and just have a lovely time. Maybe I'll be okay, but it's just that driving back, that Monday or whatever, when everyone's trying to get out of there. Hot, you'd have to have aircon in the car, people are broken. And this girl I met in New Zealand, and we were both flying back to Melbourne together, Sarah, she used to live here, and she said she went to Glastonbury once, and she said everyone was so excited on the way there, the bus, everyone was going crazy, drinking, everyone's having fun. On Monday, it was like nobody speak. But maybe that's a great life experience. You should do it once, and probably there's people that travel from around the world because they want to go to Glastonbury, and maybe I should be very lucky that it's only a few hours away, and I could maybe find a way that I perform there. Comedy, obviously. And do it once. But I know me. I just need to do it in the most comfortable way possible. That's what I meant by that. Let's dip into the... hope that helps. Hope that answered your question. But I imagine there are a lot of people sad on the way back because of drugs and come downs. Right, let's have a look at the comments on Spotify. Was so lovely to meet you in Adelaide. Great show. Yes, he is my husband. Nicola, that's the Irish couple I met. Thanks for clarifying. And you never want to assume. You don't want to make people feel awkward. But yes, that was your husband. Yeah, lovely to meet you too. They were so nice. Mondayers. Frankie G. Richard Parker is adorable. Our kids are obsessed. Oh, that's so nice. I would have picked him up earlier for the camera, but it's very hot, and I feel like his fur would get stuck a lot on me and on my face. But he's gone out and about now. He's absolutely loving it out there. He loves being outside, and when it's nice weather. I am doing a like a branded thing for a cat food company called Catkin. So I had to give him some. They sent a package, and I had to give him some. He's always been a bit funny. He has dry kibble. But he has wet food if he's not been very well or something, and he absolutely loves the wet food. And if you give him too much wet food, he then sort of refuses the dry stuff. But it's good for his teeth and his kidneys, the dry stuff. So he has to have that one. But I gave him this pouch so we could film something. I thought, let's see if you like it. And it's going to sound like I'm doing it. I'm not paid for this bit now. Like, how happy it's made him having this. So I'm going to do dry food in the morning. And then this catkin in the evening. I know it's like fresh meat and it's supposed to be really good. There's no preservatives or anything in it. So it's like really healthy. And it's good because wet food hydrates them more. He's been so happy and hasn't been asking for food all day like he usually does. So I feel bad that maybe he's not been satisfied properly. But now I think that's his diet going forward. But it sounds like I'm doing it as an advert. But I'll message them and say, this is great. Harvey, maybe we need a Monday handshake or gesture for if and when we ever meet in person. You know that hand gesture when people form circles with their index finger? When people form circles with their index finger and thumb, oh, like an okay, and make goggles on their face. Oh, yeah, that could be it. The circle's representing OO for double oat. Oh, okay, so people do that as they... Do you know that's... If this is going to be a very niche crossover. Let me know if anybody watching this understands this. You do that when you do the griddy. That's all I'm going to say. Let me know if that means anything to anyone. I think, like, that's... Double O. Okay, so you do... Okay, yeah, we can do that if you want. Double O. Yeah, let's do that. Great, thank you. Harvey, so there we go. Bang, do that. Just a gentle thing. You don't have to make a big deal of it. As you're walking towards me, just go... And I'll go, oh, nice. I'll do it back. Yeah, great. Thanks, Harvey. Double O. Double Oaters. Do you know I'm not actually a double oater? Just to be clear, do we know this? I don't want to be dishonest with you all, but I use regular milk. Is that bad? Should I try doing double oat? Should I try double oating this week? I'll try. Anyway, love this podcast. Thank you. Was so annoyed with myself that I didn't fly to Adelaide to see you. Well, now I'm annoyed with you as well. Thanks for showing RP at the end. Love him. I'll be back to Australia. If that's where you're, I imagine that you were somewhere else in Australia. I'll be back. So I'm finishing this tour in America maybe next year. And then, so yeah, I'll have to think I'll probably start my tour in Australia and New Zealand. So yeah, so hopefully I'll let you know. But, you know, I'm working up this new stuff. I'm working on it. This is from Vic, me listening to this in bed, trying to fall asleep with the eyes, that eye, double eye looking emoji. ... I don't know what to make of this, Vic. Me listening to this in bed, trying... Oh, did I talk about that maybe? I must have spoken about that. And then maybe that made you jump. But now it's going to make you jump. Oh, imagine that. You've just drifted off. 51 minutes. You've just drifted off the podcast. You've put it on snooze after episode ends or in 1 hour. And you've just got to that point and I've gone, Vic, listen to this very fully. And you've gone, that's woke me up. Sorry if so. Hopefully you're fast asleep by this point. Chico, is this the Ellen? You were the first friend I met at uni. So... This is Chico, who I went to university with, and I spoke last week that when I was in New Zealand, I bumped into my friend. We messaged for months and met up. I met up with my friend Ellen in New Zealand. She lives in Christchurch. And Chico, who I didn't know listened, has commented, "Is this the Ellen? You were the first friend I made at uni. I was standing outside KBH, that's Kingston Bridge House. That was our halls of residence. Having a cheeky smoke." Oh, Chico. "After my dad had left. I remember thinking, WTF, what the F have I done? I couldn't be any further from home. I could have gone to Manchester, Leeds, but I chose London. Then a group of people came bursting out the door, and you walked up to me and introduced yourself and said, 'Do you want to come to the pub with us?' I'll never forget that. We never know the impact of our actions. You're a good egg." Oh, Chico, that's crazy. And usually I wouldn't talk to somebody if they were smoking because I wouldn't want to get the smell of it on my clothes. But do you know what I mean? Like sometimes, in fact, yesterday when I was doing one of my washes outside, somebody, and this is middle of the afternoon on a Friday, I think they were smoking a cigar. And I thought, I better not get on my washing. In fact, if I was sat with someone else in the garden, I would have said it passive-aggressively. Or was that passively? I don't know the difference. I used passive in a video the other day and some men got angry underneath that I'd used it incorrectly. I would have gone, "Oh, can you smell that? It's like a cigar. Oh, no, I better get the washing in." I would have said it loud like that so they heard. But that's so lovely, Chico. And I would have of course spoke to somebody if they were smoking. I would have just kept a distance because of the smoke on my clothes, because I was very funny about that. Very funny about that. But, that's so nice. There we go, Chico. We both studied the same thing together as well. Wow. That's so nice. Mandy, love the connection you have with RP. It's adorable. Thank you. I agree. Hey, Jake. Julie, lovely to see RP at the end. Yeah, sorry, I should have done this earlier, but it is too hot. Yes, you did my cameo last week for my dog, Frank the Norfolk. I think you'll remember it. Yep, okay, now I remember that one. Everyone loves it. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so nice. You're welcome. I have a small token of appreciation, which I'll get to you on June the 5th in Stortford. June the 5th in Stortford. Let me check that one out. Okay, that's almost 2 weeks from now. Anglia Comedy Double. Bishop, Stortford, and Witham. I've talked about this before on the podcast, haven't I? Because every time it comes up, I can't remember it. 2 weeks from now, is that right? Or I guess less than that when you listen to this. I guess by the time this comes out, it'll be next week. You'll be able to say. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. What was the comment? Let me You had. I have a small token of appreciation, which I'll get to you on June the 5th in Stortford. On another note, I think you and I may be the only two in the universe who have never read or watched anything Harry Potter related. Yeah, I've still not changed that. And I feel like I was talking earlier about like a summer read, and I think Harry Potter's not that, is it? I think it's more like a wintry thing, because it seems to always see the adverts around Christmas time. P.S. Happy birthday for the 31st. Thank you. P.P.S. If you get to Stortford early, PM, on the 5th, my friend has a cafe which does the best gluten-free stuff. And tea, of course. Oh, where's this? And where is Stortford? I think I did this last time. I mean, we did see earlier that I was Googling where the gig I have tonight is. So, I'm not going to be thinking about 1-2 weeks away. Bishop Stortford directions. Oh, okay. It's one of those places that's a bit of a nightmare to get to, so actually leaving early on a Friday is probably a good decision. So I will do that, please. Yeah, what's the cafe called, please? Thank you. Lovely. I'll see you there. Right. I thought that was going to be tough because I've not been up to anything, but turns out I've been up to quite a bit. I mean, 7 washes, doing some gardening. But here we are. Right. I'm now going to go and have an omelette and then drive to the gig for tonight. I'll let you know how I get on. And next week, I'll be recording this from Ireland, from Kilkenny. So, we'll do another on location somewhere. I'll see what I can find. But I think the gigs run all day, so I don't know if I'll be able to use one of the venues. I'll see what I can do. It might just be from my hotel room, but we'll see. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you so much for listening. If you listen, just share it on social media or something, on like your story. Just to be like, let's try and... I've got an idea for this to grow it as well. Because I think it's nice. I like our bunch. But, when I was talking to my manager in America, and she was like, what do you want to do with the podcast? What should we do with it? So we were talking about getting guests on. So I was thinking of, obviously this is Had Worse Mondays, that I would have like a Thursday episode called Be Rude Not To, where it would be rude not to talk to a guest for that week and we'd sit down and have a chat. Would you be up for that? Would you like that? Let's have a think. Anyway, Mondayas, double Otas. That's all from me. If you just listen to this, I did the O thing with my eyes, but if you weren't watching that, it didn't mean anything to you. But that's all from me. Have a great week, and as always, I'll see you next Monday. Bye.